Guys, I've just realized something. The loading screen, the bird in the bottom, that's meant to be a gull. It's a gull, because we're the gull wings, yeah? I just realized it, because I accidentally loaded into Final Fantasy X instead of Final Fantasy II before recording today, and it took me a long while of just staring at the old loading screens compared to the new ones, and yeah, it just twigged. Anyway, hello everyone, welcome to another video. It's been a pretty crazy day for me. Today we are going to be going on, as Riku should explain, oh no, never mind, she says the syndicate can't hide from Gumshoe Riku. Maybe Buddy can explain. He says, so where do you want to hit first? Damn it, someone explain. We're looking for LeBlanc Syndicate outfits. The aim is to break into Chateau LeBlanc, because for some reason they broke into our airship and stole a broken sphere we found in Zanarkand a little while ago. So yeah, we want in, but they're not going to let us in unless we find disguises. So last episode we went to Guadalcanal. As you can see, it remains a hotspot. And so it's totally on us to figure out where to go. We did speak to people there though, and we found 3 locations that people around Guadalcanal seem to have seen the LeBlanc Syndicate going to. One location is the Jose High Road, another location is Beaconal Desert, and a final is Mount Gagazet. Now obviously those guys are hunting spheres, so we can probably get some double whammies here. Let's start at the top and work our way down. At least that's what I left for myself in my notes before. And that's going to be at Jose Temple. So there are no missions here at the moment. It says those Machina Crazy Albed Machine Faction guys are hiring helpers. If you want to work in the sand, this is the place. Alright, through a little bit of movie magic there, I've just cut a bunch of cutscenes out. So we're here at Jose Temple. Is there really very much for us to do this chapter? Well, no, not really. You remember all that stuff we did in Chapter 1 where we signed up? If you didn't do that in Chapter 1, you could now do that here in Chapter 2. And because the LeBlanc Syndicate are in the desert, it sort of now becomes a required part of the plot that you actually sign up and join the Machine Faction so that you can pursue them later. Right now, we're not really worrying about the desert, we're just worrying about the Jose High Road. And it just so happens we load into the temple at this point, so we may as well get both birds done with one stone. So anyway, yeah, we're back. We had some really interesting discussion in Chapter 1 about the temple here and the fact that the rocks are all electrified and they have lightning everywhere. Don't forget the chests will refill after the chapter. I just opened this off screen. It was like a high potion or something in it. But we had some interesting discussion, okay? This was the idea that now that the faith isn't even here, how comes the lightning rocks are still moving around? And I like to think that the idea is the Machine Faction. Obviously, they're very good with Machina, electricity, and maybe they're just doing it. Maybe it's just a show. Maybe it has nothing to do with the faith's power. And then I like to think even further, what if that was true during Yevon's time as well? You know, we knew in the later temples that we visited, or, you know, in the previous game, that many of the people of Yevon were breaking their own codes about using Machina. Maybe it was just always something there for show that they'd always been using. And when the Machine Faction came here, they just kind of set it up, right? And they just turned it all back on. Here you'll find a chest with 2 echo screens and also Giffel, who is still talking to us about the fact that we need to give Nadler the letter, which we only just acquired on this save file. So anyway, he's talking about that there. I guess he may have some slightly different dialogue if we were already fully in the Machine Faction, but it's not going to be anything super amazing. I kind of like that their leader is just wandering around there, right? I mean, the leaders of the other factions, I guess the Machine Faction is just a lot more laid back. They've got their own agenda, they're doing their own thing. It's not quite New Yevon Youth League levels, but, you know, it's kind of cool that Giffel just wanders around. This guy says, what? You want to raise? Use that panel over there. I guess these people don't really have any very different dialogue. But of course we are here for a reason, and that's to find the LeBlanc Syndicate. Some of the Albed will mention that they've seen them around. They mention that they've seen like a gaggle of fashion-impaired people or something. One of the guys outside says something to that effect. So what we're going to want to do is head further down to the Jose High Road, but obviously there's no harm in coming around, publicizing, matchmaking, collecting chests. That is the essence of the game. So here, this woman says, the LeBlanc Syndicate is here. Sounds like they want to go to the desert. Why do they need the Machine Faction's permission to go there or to get all together? No, it's just to work for them, right? Maybe they do want to work for the Machine Faction. That'd be kind of interesting, like some merger of the two. Here, this guy says, a gaggle of fashion-impaired dames is hunting for something down the Jose High Road. Great, so let's head to the Jose High Road. Today's been crazy for me, guys. I've not been sleeping very much lately. So Grimrock 2 came out. I really wanted a video out, like, within the first hour of release. I never managed to in the end. You just saw some goons run past us. But it was a huge issue. I ended up deciding I wanted to upload the first episode in 1080p, and it was like a huge mistake. It took me like 7. I had a nap while I was rendering, and then the nap turned into just full-blown sleep, and I was asleep for like 7 hours. And then when I tried to upload it, it said it had a 2,000 minute upload time because it was just so big. Yeah, needless to say, I need to figure out my render stuff, because I would like to start doing everything in 1080, but I don't know. So this guy says, you're here to sign up for the Dear God. What am I saying? Of course not. So, you know, that was actually dialogue we'd seen before. We don't have to worry too much about these guys running around. I'm sure some of them will be mentioning the LeBlanc Syndicate. I came here to try out this dig everyone's been talking about. Overall, we're just going to ignore them and pursue the Syndicate. I mentioned in the previous game that there's not really much going on Jose in that game. There's not really much in this game either. I mean, it's a huge, long road, right? But there is so little to do. I think this point here in Chapter 2 is really the only time there's something going on. And I feel like it's a little bit rushed, I gotta be honest. Here, look, we'll find some goons. And they mean that we can't use these hovers to travel across the road anymore. He says, I'm on special assignment, yes, carrying out our duties, yes. What are you talking about? A covert operation, yes. Could tell you, but I have to kill you, yes. Wow, that's very covert. Anything goes for the mighty LeBlanc. Nothing goes for the dull wings. You guys keep hanging around here and you're asking for a knuckle sandwich, dull wings. Ah, they've actually boxed me in. Boxed me in. Okay, that's alright, I'm safe though. So yeah, we can't use any of these things. We are going to have to walk the high road. I thought Pain wasn't in our party there for a second. I was a little bit scared. I'm a little bit concerned about our festivalists here. We have a boss fight coming up, and I'm not sure the girls are very strong. The fact that we used Fiends to get ourselves through a large chunk of, like, the Killiker stuff, that's scary. I don't know. It's very scary, and we're running kind of rubbishy classes at the moment. Well, they're not rubbish. They just don't have that much learnt at the moment. But we'll see. We'll equip some nice gear. But the boss fight we're about to go into has some strong status effects, namely darkness and silence will be hit on your girls. I remember in my test file, I really kind of struggled at that moment. So you do want to be cautious of that. We should probably keep throwing sandals and stuff at this guy because he's very evasive. But never mind, down he goes. That wasp's like fiend tail is very cool. Oh, I can start putting them in as well now. Oh, this is going to be so good.
That's weird. Where did we drop that thing?
We gotta find that sphere or the boss will be furious. We might even get the heal.
Stop complaining and help me look.
Hey, did you hear that? Let's find it first.
God, we are a bit rude.
Someone's turning Yuna into a bad girl.
Yeah.
Who?
She's looking at you, Riku. She's looking at you. So, mission time. Yeah, this is the mission. It's like, what excuse can we find to make the players come to the Jose High Road? Well, the LeBlanc Syndicate were recovering a sphere, and they dropped it somewhere. So it's not even like there's a dungeon or anything here. There's no, real jumping. It's kind of sloppy, I gotta be honest. 2 birds, 1 stone. Swipe the Syndicate's lost sphere. As long as you're making a scene, you may as well nab their clothes too. Objective, find the missing sphere. So, yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're also gonna equip this stuff. So let's actually see if we've got any. A Shining Bracer, constant protect effect. That's nice, but really... silence is going to be a huge issue, which someone's already got equipped, and so is darkness. So this guards against darkness as well, the silver glasses. You'll notice this is actually gear that we got a long time ago. I guess it's equipped to our fiends, right? Yeah, there you go. We got a long time ago. This is what we originally stole from the LeBlanc Syndicate in Chapter 1. In those very few battles we ended up having with them. So that's actually really cool and something I very much enjoy. Here we go. We'll get rid of the silence here from Brother 2. So basically we can make one girl immune to everything they're going to throw out at us. I guess I want Pain to be immune to the darkness. So silver glasses on Pain. We could have bought more of this stuff from other places. And I guess I want Yuna to be resistant to the silence, because frankly she has the more powerful festivities kind of abilities, and Riku is just kind of screwed a little bit. Maybe we should just give Riku a bit more health so she's a bit tankier, she can keep throwing items and stuff. What do you think about that? So here we go, we've got the Iron Bangle. One other thing I'd love to do, I haven't shown you guys about the class system yet, it relates to the garment grids again, and the special dress sphere that Trommel gave Pain a while ago, do you remember, called Full Throttle. Well, today we're going to talk about this system and we're going to start using it. So, currently Pain has the Heart Reborn garment grid on. I don't really want her on that anymore. We're instead going to equip her with this one here called Unerring Path. And as you can see, this was this really weird, crappy one that just has 2 slots on it. And no gates, no passives. It just says at the top it's a grid ideal for accessing special dress spheres quickly. So, we will equip Unerring Path with Warrior and... do you know what? That's fine. Black Mage is fine for her to swap to there. So, we'll do that. And then we will go to equip Pain with Unerring Path. And her default dress sphere will be Black Mage so that she can swap to Warrior. And basically, the way that special dress spheres work in the game is once you have class swapped to every sphere on your garment grid in a single battle, you will be able to activate your overdrive, basically. You'll be able to activate your special dress sphere. Each girl has their own special dress sphere. Yuna and Riku's come through the natural course of playing the game, while Pain's is an optional one you can only find in Macalania Forest in chapters like 1 and 2 by seeking out Trommel. So, actually on my test file, I never got Pain's one. I had like overdrives unlocked for Yuna and Riku, but never Pain. Like hers is the optional one, and actually quite a fun one too. And being dress spheres, even though they are special in many ways, they can still be leveled up, and they still have multiple things associated with them. So now you'll notice when we go to the garment grid to swap, you'll see that the path has actually lit up with this glowing blue colour. Imagine we had a really complicated grid with loads of lines and stuff across it. Once we'd been everywhere, then it would suddenly start glowing and pulsing. It would look badass. But because it's now lit up like this, we know for a fact we can swap to our special dress sphere. And down on the bottom right, you see we press L1 to open up the garment grid. And now that we've been everywhere, we can press R1 to activate the special dress sphere. By pressing R1, you'll now notice all the slots on the garment grid have changed to a totally new one, this one here with the sword. And it says that this is Full Throttle, a special dress sphere housing the soul of a legendary warrior. And so we'll equip that and see what Pain can do. Now you'll see why I wasn't worried about everyone losing health a second ago there, because once you move into your special dress sphere, the other two girls will leave the battle completely. This is almost like overdrives crossed with summons, right? Pain will regenerate all of her health and MP. Or maybe not, maybe she'll just get a boost. And suddenly we're in control of Pain with a totally new thing, right? This is Full Throttle. She's got regular attacks and she's also got throttle abilities. She can do fire, ice, water, or lightning damage with these crazy cool sounding abilities here. Let's try this one here. And then we also have two wings, which are basically function as separate characters we can use at once. So this is like a summon that you summon 3 things at once. So here we've got the Sinistral wing, which is what we're currently on. And this guy has stamina, which restores health to a character, which I'll use on Pain here. As does the Dextral wing, so we'll use that there on Pain too. We're back in control of Pain here. We'll make her attack the Agama here. She didn't really do that much damage, but that's fine. I don't predict her to die. You'll see the Dextral wings are taking a long time to do their stuff, but they restore a ton of health. Alright, we're back in control of the Sinistral wing. Let's have a look. We got Sinistral art. Well, we got metal as well. This restores MP to a character, so we could give Pain more, but she doesn't really need it right now. Let's go into the Sinistral arts. This guy will buff everyone, give them way higher strength, way higher defense, will lower the strength of enemies or lower the defense of all enemies. So let's use Steel Feather, raise the party's strength. We're back in control of Pain again. Let's use Winter Keel. Actually, let's use Wellmen on the Gold Elemental, because that's going to be its weakness. And the Dextral wing has Dextral arts, which will damage and inflict statuses. So this inflicts damage and poison on an enemy, damage and darkness, damage and sleep, damage and silence. So let's use the Laser wing on the Agama here. Now, what's really cool about this special dress sphere is right now it may seem a little bit weak. It was ultimately very easy to get access to, right? But as it levels up, it will get all these crazy passives. You know, it can get ribbon, it can get double HP, it can get all kinds of crazy stuff, triple HP even. And even if Pain were to die in this suit, Riku and Yuna are still perfectly safe, and they would run back into the battle. And so in really devastatingly powerful boss battles, you can go into one of these special spheres, fight to the death, and then all it's going to cost you is Pain's life. And then you just bring the other girls in, you Phoenix down her, and away you go. So maybe we can use that in a second. One of the main reasons I wanted to show that off to you guys is because we are about to have a boss fight. And for another reason too, which I guess we'll get to. But yeah, no chests on the road, no reason to jump. I think, you know, if this... the reason I say this is maybe rushed is I feel like this could have been expanded somewhat. And you may have had a situation where there was some kind of new dungeon that was added to the game here. And you would be able to travel through that dungeon to race the syndicate to the sphere. A bit like we did at the start of the game, sure. But, you know, that's it. It's not necessarily old by now. And, yeah, I mean, my last playthrough, this was the only time I came to Jose. I might be forgetting something in later chapters, but I don't think I am. I mean, I've read so much about this game. This game is like a rat hole. Like, literally, you're like, oh, yeah, I'll read about this one thing, and then suddenly you're reading about another thing, and then another thing, and then another thing, and then you've got like a million pieces of trivia you'll have to jot down or commit to memory somehow. It's ridiculous. Anyway, by progressing onwards... Oh, did we already pass it? I don't think we did. We are literally just, yeah, there you go. We're looking for a sphere on the ground, and what do you know? Here it is. Now, this sphere is a very special sphere because it's another special dress sphere. Ooh, you found Yuna's special dress sphere, Floral Fallow. See, this just seems really uninspired for how powerful this dress sphere is. So this is Yuna's version of Full Throttle.
So that's where it was. Sorry for the trouble. I appreciate yous finding it for us, though. What? You're not giving it back? Done.
This scene here will always stick out in my memory of a great example of the bad lip sync in this game.
These meanies won't give me back the sphere!
So then we take it
Like,
back.
literally.
Huh?
Look at his
And on
face.
that note, take it back.
And they have a femgoon with them. He says the nerve, and he stands there with the screen on him for ages, mouthing away at all this crazy stuff. I think I even mentioned that in the previous LP. I found that so funny. But look at how accustomed we are to just that now with this series, you know? When I started playing 10, I was like, oh god, people are going to notice the crappy lip sync. We're at rock bottom low with this scene. This is as bad as it gets, and you can almost just gloss over it completely. Anyway, here's the boss battle. I guess I shouldn't be on pause.
You guys deserve a medal.
We will try and use Spinner on the Femgoon because I doubt she's immune to it, and it would be very cool if she was confused and doing damage to her allies. We're going to start off by power breaking Logos here. Logos is slightly squishier than Ormi, as always. He also got hit with a Fira there, so that's pretty nice. And hopefully we can finish him off very quickly. Now, the reason why this boss battle is a little bit more difficult than you might expect... Yes, she's confused, that's perfect. Is a little bit more difficult than you might expect is... Ormi and Logos will throw grenades at you, and these grenades will inflict two statuses. One of them will throw Hush grenades, which silences your party, and the other one will throw blind grenades, or flash grenades, I guess, which will... so here we go, we want to, armor break Logos here? And the other one will throw flash grenades, which will blind your guys. So I got in this hideous situation where everyone in my team was blinded and silenced before, and it was just so painful. So you want to be very cautious of that. Equip any proof gear you can before you come in. Obviously, if you're on some kind of fire using overpowered fiends or something, then this can become very easy. But what I quite like about the way I'm doing this LP is I'm always going to be at some risk of losing with these girls just because they're so low level. And I think a lot of the time, low level challenges, not that this is technically one, do have a lot more to offer in terms of like how you can enjoy the game. Because this game just gives you so many options, so many dress spheres, so many items, so much stuff. For example, Pain, we haven't really thrown any items, we could throw a budget grenade here.
Hi, my pretty.
Wow, Riku, jeez, chill. We're going to throw a high potion on Yuna here. Luckily, Riku's doing fine, because she, of course, has auto protect on her, which is very nice. I guess just keep going with the firefish. There we go. The goon killed herself with water, and now here come the grenades. So these are Hush grenades. There are a few ways to get around this. This would completely incapacitate your white mage, your black mage. But remember I told you, the gun mage actually technically isn't casting spells, and so they can't be silenced. Well, they can be silenced. It's just the silence isn't going to do that much against them, which is always nice. Just keep the focus up on Logos over there. Try and get a nice chain going. Whoops, wrong target. Let's pretend that didn't happen there. I guess it's because Yuna's been using her AoEs the whole time. Hail of Bullets is pretty dangerous. There's a big theme here with this chapter, at least while we're hunting for these clothes, in that you fight a lot of these guys, and every time you encounter them, they tend to have something new and improved. Like, they get better and better. Keep learning these new abilities, and slowly but surely, they become really, really dangerous. So there we go, that's Logos down. We might start seeing flash grenades coming out now. But ultimately, I'm expecting this to be a fair bit easier. He's running off now. So what you want to do is just take note of everything you're seeing them use as the battles go along. And it will sort of build to a crescendo. It's a bit of a shame because I think a lot of people just get kind of bored of fighting these guys. But when you do actually take the time to look at the abilities they're using and their mechanics, all of a sudden it can become very intimidating when you're fighting not one of them, but two of them, but three of them, and so on. I guess there's another thing you might be tempted to do, and that would be to steal. So, I mean, Riku here, we could swap her over to Thief. We haven't done much swapping in battles, so we may as well do this. And once she's on Thief, she could start stealing from them. However, unlike in Chapter 1, where you could nearly always steal really cool, unique accessories from them, in this chapter, or at least with this particular fight, there isn't that much need to steal from these guys. I think I would prefer Riku on Thief right now anyway. That's very Yojimbo-y, her sort of intro here. But because she'll just be that much quicker. She gets the double chains. She can steal. And, you know, even though she's not actually that good at that dress sphere right now. Pirouette pinch, as you can see there, is just sort of a basic looking ability. I should probably throw more sandals. At this point in the game as well, if you had been sticking with Black Mage, really the Black Mage is going to start outpacing the Festivalist, because the Festivalist has got such low RNG. You know, there's also much RNG on actually whether she's going to get the Auras or Argas. While by this point you could consistently be casting the Auras. You can get cool items like that crystal ball from the zoo that I talked to you guys about. Actually, did I? Has that appeared in the videos yet? I guess it hasn't. But there's, you know, there's cool stuff, okay, and this can boost your magic power a lot that the Festivalist won't necessarily be able to take advantage of. Anyway, let's swap Riku back. Now you'll notice, right, we just swapped her from Festivalist to Thief, and now we're swapping her from Thief to Festivalist, and this is where I think the game goes wrong. It shows us the animation again. And that's obviously because we have totally different, I guess we have a different animation to watch, I suppose. We got the outro of Festivalist now, or the intro of Festivalist. But I think they should skip it at that point. I really do. I think that should just be instant from them. You shouldn't have to watch 2 full-blown animations before you can finally get the instant swaps. Anyway, there we go. We sort of brute forced him down, and off they run. We're going to manage to net ourselves a sphere. And I don't know whether you noticed that there or not, but the Femgoon that was with us randomly in the battle, turns out that wasn't so random. We beat her up and took her clothes. She was running off looking like a woman from Killiker or something. Yeah, the idea is she's naked now. So we liberated a syndicate uniform. This is the weirdest way you end up getting one of the uniforms. You literally just beat up a person and take it from them. But there you go. I mean, any chance you can get, I suppose. You'll notice we get a silver bracelet and an iron bangle for winning this. But those weren't things we had to steal. Back on the Celsius, you'll notice something pretty cool happens up here. To reflect the fact we just liberated one of these outfits. Here you will see that Riku has appeared as a Femgoon. She's actually put the clothes on. So she says it's fun to be the bully every once in a while. I don't know. These are the right messages this game's sending out. Payne says, I suppose Logos and company are getting the heel right about now. So the idea, we want 3 of these outfits. In fact, if we look in our key items now, you'll see that we have, where is it? A Syndicate Uniform S, which stands for small. So we're looking for a medium one and a large one. I really don't think the girls are actually that different in size at all. But apparently, Payne needs a large outfit and Riku needs a small. I guess there's a slight difference in height, but come on, really? Anyway, so what we're going to do now is go to the desert. We did just sign up for the Machine faction, so why not? And we do know that the LeBlanc Syndicate's there. And, remember, we threw a Waka off, right? Didn't we? We threw him to the Albed, so I wonder what will happen there. We have only just got Gipple's letter, so we'll see what happens now if we arrive here in Chapter 2. Remember when we came here in Chapter 1? For the first time, we got lost in the desert, and there was that whole thing about how there was a caravan out there that they needed help with, and we even had a whole mission. Well, this time, since we didn't do that in Chapter 1, the events would play out slightly differently. Pickett's here, and he says, something detected. And immediately, we're here. You know, there's no getting lost, there's no running around in the wild. You missed that whole part of the story, because we came here a little bit later. But, so everyone's here. Generally, things will be the same. There's still this mystery locked chest here. This guy pacing around. It says, I got to find that key before Nardla lets me have it again. We don't have to wait for Nardla to arrive. She's here already. And, in fact, we want to talk to her and show her the letter.
I'm busy, so make it fast, okay? I've got lots to excavate and no one to do it.
Uni, show her Gipple's letter.
Have you seen the LeBlanc Syndicate?
Oh.
That's us.
Nice to meet you.
I guess the High Summoner's hard up too. Well, don't be expecting any special treatment.
I won't be.
We'll send you out there by hover. Go talk to the pilot about it.
So, one cool thing that has happened, though, now that we're on Chapter 2, Nardla says, hang on.
Oh, before you start digging, I'd really like you to go check out the Oasis for me. Some strange stuff's been washing up there lately. I'd appreciate it if you looked into
The Oasis. Stuff has been washing up at the Oasis. A bit like we washed up at the Oasis in the previous game. Oh, God, that could be such a cool story if something happened with that. So basically, we want to go to the Oasis, and now, since we're in Chapter 2, there is, he says, you've just signed up. You've already got a special assignment. If anyone knows how to drag someone into a heap of trouble fast, it's Nadler. Well, show us what you've got. Before I talk to him, I'm just going to quickly save the game. Because once again, we can expect a pretty dangerous boss battle coming up. Can we really consider these boss battles? I guess they're just powerful encounters, right? Maybe it's a bit rich to call them boss battles. But here, he says, where can I take you? And no longer do we have the main, what are we, Western Expanse right now, and Central Expanse and all that kind of stuff. Instead, it's just Oasis. So, let's select it, see what we find. So, the mission is called What Are We Doing Here? Oh, the puns. Too late to say no now, so it's off to check out the Oasis for Nadler. If anyone gets in your way, hurt first, ask questions later, investigate the Oasis, and report back. And if we're lucky, it might just be where we wanted to go in the first place. Read, that's definitely exactly what's going to happen. It feels good to be back here, right? You'll notice with many of the desert maps in this game, they're literally the old desert maps, but they scale them up massively. This maybe isn't the best example, but I will show you. There's interesting stuff at the Oasis, like the idea that if you come here regularly, if you get really lucky, you can find like a traveling caravan that's stopped to wait, and they sell you unique gear and stuff. Maybe I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, though. It's cool to see the Oasis from the other angle as well, before the camera was the other way.
Look, a sphere.
Ah! How convenient. So, actually, we're in control. Oh, I didn't realize we'd be in control here. Riku says, a sphere, score! And Payne says, we may not be the only sphere hunters here. Can we go for a dip? No, remember, there is no swimming in 10-2. And, once again, we just kind of randomly find on the floor Riku's special dress sphere, Mackin' and more. Makes me think maybe they added the special dress spheres a little bit later in the game.
Fancy meeting you here.
Oh, not again.
You can lead a gullwing to water, but you can't make it drink.
Say, those are nice uniforms.
Enough of this nonsense.
I guess we're lucky there's Femgooms with them here. So this time it's just Logos, there is no Ormi. I guess this one's slightly easier then, all things told. The Femgoons are very squishy, and in general, they will just take, they'll cast Tier 1 and Tier 2 black magic on you. So no longer is it just Tier 1 magic we're going to be seeing against us, they'll use stronger stuff too. What I'm going to do is open up with an armor break on Logos. We're going to confuse one of the girls, we're going to outright kill another one of the girls, and then we did just pick up Mackin' and more, right? So, what if we try that out? Did we get the spinner on the right target there? Yes, we did. Sweet. So that's one dead, that's him armor broken, I guess we're already there. By pressing triangle in this game, it is the same as in the previous game, where you will skip a girl's turn. So, you're not often going to want to do that, in my opinion. But it is a totally optional, viable thing here. So Riku's turn's ready, and so is Payne. So if we want to use Riku first, we can just press triangle. But it's actually technically not ready because she's in the middle of a sphere change, but whatever. Well, power break Logos as well, I suppose. Remember not to physically attack someone you've confused. You can cast magic on them, they'll stay confused, but if you physically attack them, they'll probably snap out of it. So Riku, again, is now here, and you'll notice this line is being drawn along the grid. So let's go up to Warrior now. And the really cool thing as well, synergy you can now see is the Unerring Path garment grid. Sure, it lets you get into your special dress sphere very quickly. And I remember when I was younger, that's all I ever did. I just used that constantly because I thought the special dress spheres were like the be-all and end-all, right? But actually, and I hated sitting through all of the sphere change animations. But if you were to use normal garment grids with lots of gates, then think about that for a second. You're getting into a special dress sphere, but the process of even unlocking that special dress sphere, you are going through all of these gates and getting all of these buffs. So Riku right now, I can't remember what grid she's even on, but she's going through 2 gates here. She's getting powerful stuff. So here, look, she's learning Curaga, Life. It's pretty awesome. And finally, she goes back to where she originally came from to do the full circuit. And, you know, maybe this hasn't got perfect synergy with the special dress sphere. Maybe you want to do stuff that gives you, like, double HP for going through a gate, ribbon for going through a gate, you know, when you get to the powerful end game ones, auto-protect for going through a gate, that kind of stuff, right? And now you can really see, oh my god, now we're in our special dress sphere, we've got all this damage coming out, we've got all this health, and all these auto abilities. And so what if you die? Then you can just resurrect. You know, there's so much depth here. It's just the overall game, I feel, is slightly too easy. Same with Final Fantasy X, honestly. Both of them are slightly too easy. They would really benefit from hard modes. Or you take it in your own hands and you do like a low-level run, which is sort of what we've got here.
So much fun stuff. I don't know what to do first.
Yeah, there is so much stuff. I don't know what to do first. Oh god, I accidentally just cast something with Riku. Let's kill the Femgoom now. Look, we're blind, but Pain isn't, thankfully, because we put that gear on her, so Pain can continue going ham as a warrior. And into Machina Moor we go. Dude, I love the battle music in these. They're so good.
Activate Super Duper Mega Ultra Assault Mode.
Riku gets Attack and Machinations. She gets Death Missile, instantly defeat an enemy. Bio Missile, poison an enemy, or Break Missile, inflict damage and petrification. Now he's going to be immune to that, but we'll check it out. HP and MP repair, just like with Full Throttle. We've got Crush, which is use Crusher L skills, or this thing's regular attack is Homing Ray, damage one enemy. The Crusher L skills is the Howitzer, damage an enemy. Smash also gets Howitzer, and again, Restore, we'll use Homing Ray here. Look at these animations, so badass. She's not hitting much. It's going to be kind of weird because on one file I'm hitting in the thousands now. I actually managed to get creatures that were hitting like 9,999 in Chapter 1. Just because I was using overpowered New Game Plus stuff and equipping it onto Fiends. I'll be able to show you guys that later. You can absolutely devastate this game if you did that kind of thing. Here we go. But, I mean, you can just auto-attack your way through here. Even Hail of Bullets. I mean, I'm not intimidated. It would take me so long to lose to Logos here. Of course, we did also get Floral Foul, which is Yuna's. Probably won't appear in this episode, but maybe you guys can guess as to exactly what that's going to eventually look like. We'll just keep attacking with Riku and crushing and smashing with the Smasher and the Crusher. These guys don't have too much health. Again, fractional damage is a big theme of many of these enemies. This is a reason why I can survive here. While even if I was on my other file, it would be a lot easier, but they'd still chunk my health fairly significantly. Here you can see we're just naturally immune to all this stuff. That was interesting. We were going for a physical attack. He delayed us, and then our other guy decided to use a Crusher instead, so the whole thing stopped moving. I actually think he's on barely any health. There we go. Down he goes. Again, imagine if enemies were sphere changing as well. How cool would that be? Pretty badass. Alright, mission complete. Simple stuff. Yeah, get away, Syndicate, you babies. We liberate a Syndicate uniform again. I guess this one doesn't make much sense either. The Mount Galgazet one makes a lot of sense. We got as a reward for this, if you notice it before I spammed through there, a Lure Bracer. Very cool bit of gear. We also get the Hour of Need Garment Grid. Now, the Lure Bracer will basically function as the opposite to the Charm Bangle we got in the Calmlands in Chapter 1. So, the Charm Bangle eliminates random encounters, while the Lure Bracer will buff your random encounter rate very significantly. And this might sound horrible. It kind of puts it into hardcore, you know, old school grindfest RPGs like we used to have. Like, if you've ever played the original Final Fantasy 1, the encounter rates in that game are absurd. But it was the first of its kind and revolutionary in many ways, so it sort of was a good game. But anyway, check it out. You can equip the Lure Bracer here, and it will up your encounter rates by mad. It's actually very good for grinding. You can literally stand next to some save spheres and just run in tiny circles around the save sphere. Random encounter, random encounter, random encounter, random encounter, and just tap the save sphere each time. That's what I did at the end of the game when I couldn't get past a boss. I just couldn't kill a boss, and we'll talk about that boss when we get to it. And I used this Lure Bracer to do that. The other really cool thing, though, that this game does is because gear gives you both something and stats on top, you'll notice the Lure Bracer actually gives us extra strength too. So you're getting all these extra encounters, but the slight trade-off, in addition to the amazing grind it would give you, is you actually hit harder as well in those fights. And it's a significant strength boost. It's a boost of 15, which is, you know, it's better than the muscle belt we got at the start of the game, for example. So anyway, that's the Lure Bracer. The Garment Grid we got as well is going to be the first of something that's going to be recurring here. Now, there are a lot of Garment Grids in the game. They're not all totally unique. So we started the game with Vanguard, do you remember? That just gives us +5 to all our stats. Well, we also had the Protection Halo, which again was +5 to all of our stats. But defensively, the Hour of Need is what we just got. And you'll notice it's the exact same shape as Protection Halo. but it is twice as potent. That's the only difference. It's just stronger. So there are some of these that as you play through the game, they're just better, right? There's never a reason to run Protection Halo once you've got Hour of Need. And there's a third tier after that. But beyond that, there are some things that there are no better tiers of. Like the Ice Queen or the Elemental ones we got in Chapter 1. These are only available in Chapter 1, and they are unique. They're one of a kind. You're never going to find anything better than Ice Eater. That's already top tier. You're not going to find anything better than Blizzarga. Maybe you could find better gates on a different configuration, but they don't exist in the game, okay? So some of them tier up, like the basic flat boost ones will tier up. The other ones, they're going to be viable for pretty much the rest of the game, which is quite cool. I've always loved the thought of an MMO using these kinds of systems. Also, check it out, we got another outfit, and so Pain is dressed as a goon. I guess it was worth getting covered in sand after all. You damn right it was. Riku says we totally knocked their socks off. There is one other cool thing I'd love to show you guys in the desert before we finally move on to Mount Gagazet and liberate our last outfit. Alright, so back down here, what you're going to want to do is complete your first dig. Obviously on this save I hadn't done that, so I cut it out. But now you'll notice we can actually go to the Oasis as a location. I'm not actually here to do that just yet. We're instead going to go to the Southern Expanse. I'm not sure if this was available last chapter. I can't really remember. I don't think it was. And we'll go for a dig here. So this is going to be a different area. Different things can impact the dig. What we're going to do is run it off in this direction. And you'll notice that there's actually a green X on the minimap. Now, if you remember from what I talked about the digging minigame before, that wasn't something we really recognized. But, oh my god, look! It's a Walker. Hey, dude.
Oh, Walker, at your service. Me luck's run dry, it has. Getting myself in debt over me head. I'm likely to wither up and die before I come across any treasure. Don't suppose you'd let me take a break in your airship?
So you get the option once again, I believe by throwing him to the desert in the first place, you know, being so stone cold. I do think you've already forsaken your 100% completion. I might be wrong about that, but I think you have, and I'm going to say sorry, no. And he says, blah, 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 get back to work. He runs off. I think that's it now, by the way. I think we don't really have an opportunity beyond that. So good. There's a lot of really interesting things you can do with a Walker in this game. Like, already there's a couple of branches, but there's another idea of bringing him on the airship and then not paying off his debt. Now, I even asked on forums about this, because people just don't seem to know. What happens if you bring a Walker onto your airship and never pay off his debt? Like, does he just never do anything from that point? Because that would put him on the airship during some really significant plot moments later in the game, and I wonder if there are cutscenes in the game where a Walker's there. Unfortunately, I don't know the answer to that, and I can't really show it off either. For the purposes of the Chaos world, we're gonna let him rot here. So that's pretty much it. I guess we'll head over to Mount Gagazet next and get our final uniform.